If you eat low carb and still hit a wall around 2 or 3 p.m., you're not imagining it. The afternoon crash can happen even when your meals look clean and your calories look fine. The key is that low carb changes how your body manages fuel, fluids, and stress hormones across the day. And the crash usually isn't one single problem. It's a stack of small mismatches. Things like not enough total energy, not enough sodium, or a lunch that's too lean can all land at the same time. Caffeine can hide the early signals, then make the dip feel sharper later. Sleep and light exposure also shape your afternoon alertness more than most people expect. In this breakdown, you'll get a simple mental model: fuel, electrolytes, hormones, and habits. Once you know which lever is yours, the fix becomes straightforward. Let's start with the most common driver: running out of usable fuel at the wrong time. Moving to slide 2. First, understand what crash means on low carb. For some people, it's sleepiness, heavy eyes, and yawning. For others, it's brain fog, irritability, or a weird sense of being unmotivated. Those are different signals, but they can come from the same bottleneck. Your brain wants steady energy, and your body is still learning a new rhythm. On higher carb eating, glucose and insulin patterns can create a predictable afternoon dip. On low carb, you rely more on fat and ketones, plus a smaller pool of stored glycogen. That's not bad, it's just different. The transition period can be bumpy, especially if you cut carbs quickly while keeping the same schedule and caffeine. Also, low carb can mean many things, from 100 grams a day to near keto. The lower you go, the more electrolytes and total energy matter. So before blaming willpower, treat the crash like a systems problem you can troubleshoot. Moving to slide 3. One of the biggest causes is simply not eating enough total energy earlier in the day. Low-carb meals can be very filling, so it's easy to undereat without noticing. If breakfast is light and lunch is a salad with chicken but little added fat, your body may not have enough incoming fuel to cover the afternoon. On low carb, you can't always top up quickly with glucose, so the gap feels more dramatic. The crash often shows up as low drive, cold hands, or a strong urge to snack. This is especially common if you're also trying to lose weight and you cut carbs and calories at the same time. Studies on energy availability show that when intake is too low, the body downshifts. That downshift can feel like fatigue, even if your blood sugar is normal. The practical takeaway is not eat more carbs, but check the size and balance of your earlier meals. If your crash disappears on days you eat a more substantial lunch, that's a strong clue. Moving to slide 4. The next major driver is electrolytes, especially sodium. When you lower carbs, insulin tends to drop. Lower insulin tells the kidneys to release more sodium in water. That's why people often lose water weight early on. But it also means you can drift into a low sodium state without realizing it. And low sodium can feel like fatigue, headache, dizziness when standing, or that flat low energy feeling. It can also make workouts feel harder, which then feeds into an afternoon slump. Potassium and magnesium matter too, but sodium is usually the first domino. The tricky part is that you might be drinking more water to be healthy, which can dilute things further. So the crash isn't always a fuel problem. It can be a fluid and mineral problem. A simple clue is timing. If you feel worse after a lot of plain water, or better after a salty broth or a salty meal, electrolytes are likely involved. This is one reason low carb works better when hydration is intentional. Moving to slide 5. Now let's talk about protein, because it can cause a crash in 2 different ways. If lunch is too low in protein, you may feel hungry and unfocused soon after. But if lunch is extremely high in very lean protein, with minimal fat and minimal carbs, some people feel a different kind of dip. That's because protein triggers insulin too, just less dramatically than carbs. And digesting a large protein load takes work. Blood flow shifts toward the gut, and you can feel sleepy. On top of that, if you're very low carb, your body may use some amino acids for glucose production, a process called gluconeogenesis. That's normal, but it changes how your energy feels across the afternoon. The goal is not to fear protein. It's to avoid extremes and build a balanced low-carb plate. Adequate protein, enough fat for steady energy, and fibrous vegetables for volume. If your crash happens after a giant lean protein lunch, try adjusting the ratio before changing the whole diet. Moving to slide 6. Another overlooked cause is reactive hypoglycemia from hidden carbs or sweeteners. You might be low-carb overall, but lunch could include a low-carb bar, a keto dessert, or a sweetened coffee. Some sweeteners and highly processed low-carb foods can still create a noticeable insulin response in certain people. Then blood glucose can dip afterward, and you feel shaky, anxious, or suddenly exhausted. This is very individual, which is why it's confusing. One person can handle it fine, another person crashes hard. Also, sugar alcohols can cause gut stress, and gut stress can feel like fatigue and brain fog. The cleanest test is simple. For a few days, remove sweet-tasting keto products and keep meals whole food-based. If the crash improves, you've found a lever. You don't need perfection. You just need to know whether your afternoon energy is sensitive to sweeteners, processed low-carb snacks, or liquid calories. For many people, the fix is less about carbs and more about food form. Moving to slide 7. Caffeine is a big player in the low-carb afternoon crash because it changes your stress hormones. Caffeine increases alertness partly by blocking adenosine, the sleep pressure signal. It can also raise adrenaline and cortisol, which mobilize fuel. On low-carb, if you're already a bit underfueled or low on sodium, caffeine can feel amazing in the morning and then leave you with a steeper drop later. It's like borrowing energy with interest. Another pattern is caffeine timing. If your first caffeine is early and you don't eat much, you can hit a rebound right when the day gets busy. And if you add a second coffee after lunch, it can disrupt sleep later, setting up the next day's crash. The goal isn't to demonize coffee. It's to treat it like a tool with a dose and a schedule. If your crash tracks your caffeine pattern more than your food, that's valuable data. Many people stabilize afternoons simply by adjusting caffeine timing and pairing it with a real meal. Moving to slide 8. Sleep is the quiet multiplier of every low-carb symptom, including the afternoon crash. If you select short or fragmented, your brain pushes harder for quick energy and stimulation. That can show up as cravings, but it can also show up as fatigue that no snack fixes. Studies like poor sleep with reduced insulin sensitivity and higher stress hormones, which can make your energy feel more unstable even on low carb. There's also a circadian rhythm component. Most people have a natural dip in alertness in the early afternoon. When sleep debt is present, that dip becomes a cliff. If you're low carb and you also changed your training, caffeine, or meal timing, sleep can silently degrade without you noticing at first. Another detail is low-carb insomnia during adaptation. Some people feel wired at night. If that's you, the afternoon crash may be the payback. The practical move is to treat sleep as part of the diet, not separate from it. When sleep improves, many mystery crashes fade even if macros stay the same. Moving to slide 9. Here's a low-carb specific concept that explains many afternoon crashes. Metabolic flexibility. That's your ability to switch between glucose and fat smoothly. People who have been low-carb for months often feel steady all day. People who are early in the process can feel great in the morning, then oddly drained later. Why? Because your muscles and liver are still adjusting enzymes and transporters that help you use fat and ketones efficiently. During that phase, you can be low-carb, but not yet fat adapted. Add a busy day, a workout, or stress, and the system gets exposed. This is why some people do better with a gradual carb reduction rather than a sudden drop. It's also why strategic carbs around training can help some people, even if they stay low-carb overall. There's no moral score here. It's just physiology and timelines. If your crash started right after changing your diet, adaptation is a plausible cause. The good news is that adaptation usually improves with consistency, adequate electrolytes, and enough total energy. Moving to slide 10. Training can also trigger the afternoon crash, especially if you train in the morning or at lunch. Exercise uses glycogen. Even on low carb, you still burn fat, but glycogen is the fast access buffer for harder efforts. If you do high-intensity intervals or heavy lifting, you can drain that buffer. Then, a few hours later, you feel flat, foggy, and unmotivated. On higher carb diets, people often refill glycogen automatically. On low carb, refilling is slower, and it depends on total calories, protein, and recovery. Another factor is post-workout appetite suppression. Some people accidentally delay eating after training. That sets up the crash perfectly. The takeaway is to match training with recovery inputs. That could mean a more substantial post-workout meal, more sodium, or slightly lower intensity while adapting. If your crash only happens on training days, that's a strong pattern. It doesn't mean low carb doesn't work. It means your training demand and your refueling strategy aren't aligned yet. Moving to slide 11. Stress can create an afternoon crash that looks like a food problem. When you're stressed, your body uses cortisol and adrenaline to keep you going. That can feel like focus in the morning, but it also burns through resources, fuel, electrolytes, and mental bandwidth. Then, the moment the pressure drops, you feel the slump. Low carb can make this more noticeable because you're relying on stable internal fuel production. If stress is high, sleep is often worse, and caffeine use often rises, which stacks the deck. There's also the decision fatigue piece. If you're constantly resisting snacks or thinking about macros, your brain can feel tired, even if your body is fine. The practical takeaway is to separate physical fatigue from mental overload. If the crash happens on high-stress workdays, but not on weekends with the same meals, stress is a major variable. Stabilizing the afternoon might mean a better lunch, but it might also mean a short walk, a brief reset, or fewer stimulants earlier. Physiology and psychology are not separate systems. Moving to slide 12. Sometimes the afternoon crash isn't low energy at all, it's low blood pressure. This overlaps with electrolytes, but it's worth calling out. When sodium and fluid are low, blood volume can drop. Then less blood returns to the heart, and your brain can get slightly less perfusion when you stand up or move around. That can feel like lightheadedness, weakness, or sudden tiredness. Low carb can increase this tendency, especially early on. Warm environments, long meetings, or lots of standing can make it worse. A classic clue is orthostatic symptoms, feeling worse when you stand, better when you sit or lie down. Another clue is cravings for salty foods. If this is your pattern, the solution is often about fluids plus sodium, not more caffeine. Caffeine can actually worsen jitters while not fixing the root issue. If symptoms are strong or persistent, it's smart to get individualized medical guidance, because blood pressure has many causes. But as a concept, low carb plus low sodium plus high water intake is a common recipe for the afternoon slump. Moving to slide 13. Let's make this practical with a simple troubleshooting map. First, look at timing. Does the crash happen after lunch, after caffeine wears off, or after a workout? Second, look at symptoms. Is it sleepy and heavy, or shaky and wired, or dizzy when standing? Third, look at your inputs. Meal size, protein to fat balance, sodium, and water. Then run one clean experiment at a time for 3 days. For example, keep carbs the same but add sodium and see if the crash changes. Or keep sodium the same but make lunch more energy-dense with healthy fats. Or remove sweetened low-carb snacks and see if the jittery crash disappears. The biggest mistake is changing 5 things at once, then not knowing what worked. Also, don't ignore the boring variables: sleep length, sunlight in the morning, and movement breaks. Those can shift afternoon alertness dramatically. Low carb can absolutely support stable energy, but it's more sensitive to setup. When you treat it like a system, the mystery crash becomes a solvable pattern. Moving to slide 14. Now let's put it all together into the most common afternoon crash profiles on low carb. Profile 1 is the electrolyte crash: headache, dizziness, and a flat battery feeling, often improved by salt and fluids. Profile 2 is the underfueled crash: low drive and strong snack thoughts, often improved by a bigger, more balanced lunch. Profile 3 is the sweetener or processed food crash: jittery, anxious, then drained, often tied to bars, desserts, or sweet drinks. Profile 4 is the caffeine rebound: great morning, steep afternoon drop, plus worse sleep later. Profile 5 is the training mismatch: fine on rest days, crushed on workout days. And Profile 6 is the sleep and stress stack: crashes on intense days regardless of perfect macros. Your job is to identify which profile sounds like you, not to force yourself into a single rule. If you want, write down the time your crash hits and what you had for lunch and caffeine. Then pick one lever to test for 3 days. And if you found this breakdown useful, subscribe for more evidence-based nutrition troubleshooting. Comment with your crash type, A. Sleepy, B. Jittery, or C. Dizzy, and the time it usually hits. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Better signals, better metabolism, better life.